Powerful aerial video shot this morning showing the path of destruction left behind by a tornado that leveled parts of Gifford.
And tonight, hundreds there still without power and water as the cleanup continues following Sunday's tornado. Law enforcement agencies are limiting the amount of traffic into Gifford to allow emergency crews and utility companies to continue to work on restoring power.
And tonight, 7 counties in Illinois are officially disaster areas. Governor Pat Quinn made that announcement earlier today, prompting automatic financial assistance and manpower to the spots hardest hit by yesterday's deadly tornadoes.
Governor Quinn visited 5 of the hardest hit areas, including Gifford, to survey the damage and to pledge that state assistance. While in Gifford earlier this afternoon, Quinn pointed out the town's resilience, saying Gifford will be rebuilt from the rubble stronger than ever.
I think it's imperative that all of us thank our first responders. They've worked to the point of exhaustion to help their neighbors out. It's so inspiring just to go through town here to see so many people out trying to help and volunteer. That's really what Illinois is. The heart of Illinois is the heart of a volunteer. And it is important that we come together as a family, whatever your politics, wherever you live, we're all in this together.
And as you saw in our video, a number of state lawmakers were also in Gifford today. An emotional Senator Mike Frerichs, who grew up in Gifford, thanking first responders and neighbors, all helping with the cleanup effort. Senator Chapin Rose also offering his support, and Representative Chad Hayes saying Gifford will be proof of the triumph of the human spirit.
And the governor's stop in Gifford today was appreciated by many families, but some residents didn't have much time to notice as they were working on cleaning up what's left of their homes.
ABC News Channel 15's Adam Reif begins our team coverage tonight. He was in Gifford earlier today talking with the storm victims. He's live from the newsroom with their stories. Adam.
Elites, hundreds of tired and weary faces packed an informational meeting tonight in Gifford. They were looking for answers to basic questions like when will there be water or power, or where will we get food? There was little progress today, and understandably so. It was just a day after a massive tornado ripped through Gifford. And hundreds of homes were destroyed, but people in Gifford say they're not giving up.
See, that's my house over there, or was there, it's here now.
Like many people in Gifford, Shirley LaBounty says she's lucky to be alive. After a massive tornado ripped through the town of 1000 Sunday, many were still stunned a day later. Shirley says she wasn't worried about herself.
That's my mother's house next door. She's 94, and we knew we couldn't get her out anywhere.
Without a basement to protect them, Shirley opted for the next best thing she could think of.
We all went into the bathroom, and the only part of the roof left is in the bathroom. That was it. We lucked out.
While Shirley and her husband huddled next door with her mother, the tornado ripped their home off the foundation and flipped it across the street. During a stop in Gifford, Governor Quinn echoed Illinois Emergency Management Agency officials, saying everyone should be patient and report any and all damage to insurance agents. Shirley LaBounty spent Monday waiting for her insurance assessor and counting her blessings.
I just thank God we're all alive, and for all the good people we have here and everybody that has helped. It's not easy, but we have a lot of friends and family. That's how you do it.
Shirley and her family are staying in Rantoul tonight at a friend's house. The Red Cross is reporting that the number of people staying at their shelter is actually low right now. They point to the resolve of those in Gifford who want to remain in their homes regardless of the circumstances. Live in the newsroom, Adam Reif, ABC News Channel 15.
Nicor Gas has shut off the main access to the gas lines as a safety precaution. Now, because of the potential danger there, residents are being asked to hold off on any demolitions until at least Wednesday. And several donation drives have been set up for victims of that tornado in Gifford. If you would like to help, here are some of the places you can donate. United Methodist Church in Rantoul, Elite Bridal in Champaign, Parkland College Athletic Department, the Stagecoach at Gordyville, Maurice's in Champaign, United Way, and the Gifford State Bank.
And as we head to our beds tonight in our homes, many of our neighbors will lay their heads on a cot in a shelter. The deadly EF4 tornado that blew through Washington, Illinois, will make it that way for some time to come as many folks there try to rebuild. ABC News Channel 15's Chantel Middleton continues our team coverage tonight. She's live in Washington with more on the situation. Chantel.
Alita, there is nothing but debris for as far as the eye can see. In fact, we're standing in what used to be an Advance Auto Parts store with a subdivision behind it. Those homes here yesterday, gone today. Folks who live there forced into shelters as they wait for help.
And we heard the sirens go off, but the sirens have gone off in my life, 50 times, and no tornadoes ever hit me. So we didn't take too many precautions.
Kayla Palmer says 5 minutes after the warning, Sunday's EF4 tornado barreled down.
We just hit a corner wall and we all climbed on top of each other and we just prayed our hearts out.
Those prayers answered, the family safe, but their home turned inside out. Her family's first instinct to check on others.
My faith, it was strong that day. It had to be. I had no other choice.
In less than 24 hours, that faith transformed her from a victim to a volunteer at the Red Cross shelter at Crossroads United Methodist Church, where Kevin Moss turned for help.
I thought it was just going to be a storm, and then all of a sudden I heard the sound. It sounded like a freight train outside, and I got up to walk out of my room, and the windows just blew like a bomb exploded.
He escaped safely, his home only minorly damaged, but now a gas leak in what's left of his neighborhood is forcing him out.
The thing about this that's very difficult is the uncertainty. I don't know where I'm going to be staying tonight.
And last night, 30 people stayed at that one shelter alone. Hundreds more stopped throughout today to eat and to rest. Alita.
Chantel, what about tonight? How many people are sleeping there?
You know what, it's hard to say how many people will sleep there tonight. Even though there is a 6 o'clock curfew here, the Red Cross say they won't take account until midnight. They also tell us that a lot of people have moved out and they're now staying with friends. We are live in Washington. Chantel Middleton, ABC News Channel 15.
Well, as we look out across the area, much quieter evening tonight. As we look out across North Champaign, we're seeing clear skies on the Sullivan Park Hill Tower Cam, and certainly no precipitation to report across the area. ESP Live is high and dry at the current time. 28 degrees, though. It is definitely chilly. We're talking wind chills of around 20 degrees, thanks to a west-northwesterly breeze at around 8 miles an hour in Danville. Still, I'm not sure that's correct. Their reporting station has been down throughout the afternoon, so we're going to withhold that one for right now. Sunny and cool once again tomorrow, up to around 48 degrees, but we got some rain that could hamper all of the cleanup activities for the rest of the week after late Wednesday. We'll check it all out for you. The Storm Team 15 forecast is coming up. Elitza, back to you.
Thanks, Doug. Now turning our attention to national news, we look at how President Barack Obama's time in office will measure up in history. The Affordable Care Act, his signature legislation, has been plagued with issues and broken promises. National correspondent Christine Frizzell takes an early measure of what's to become of President Barack Obama's legacy.
We fumbled the rollout on this health care law. Fumbled the ball. We did fumble the ball. These are two fumbles.
Will those words and the self-acknowledged disastrous rollout of Obamacare become the historical gauge to which we judge the effectiveness of the Obama presidency? Bradley Herring is a healthcare economist.
At the end of the day, it probably will be the Affordable Care Act that people point to.
A just released Gallup poll shows President Obama's historical rating has grown more negative since it was last measured in 2012. A recent Quinnipiac poll found 54% of Americans disapproved of the job of the president, the lowest ratings Mr. Obama has racked up. Some of the historical markers of health reform will include the botched healthcare.gov website and his broken promise that people can keep their insurance policies if they like them.
It's certainly a big deal in terms of all the difficulties they've faced with the rollout and getting the website working.
Political analysts say the overall of healthcare will stick to Obama, not only because it's his signature achievement, but because it's tied to his political philosophy, that there are areas where government can best serve the public interest.
I think history is usually pretty kind to our presidents. We tend to forget a lot of the bad stuff and remember the positives.
Obama's health care bill remains the most significant piece of legislation his administration has pushed through Congress. Other things he could be judged by: passing a nearly $800 billion stimulus bill, ending the war in Iraq, killing Osama bin Laden, and boosting fuel efficiency standards for cars and trucks. Obama has reportedly said he's not worried about his place in history. But as his presidency winds down, how can he not be? I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Goes by the nickname Molly. Next in a special report, just how alarming the drug's side effects are and what's behind the drive of teens to indulge.
And after helping her team break a record yesterday, an Illini women's basketball player is getting some hardware today. Find out why a little later in sports. A drug once popular back in the 80s club scene is back in full force, and local law enforcement officials tell us Central Illinois teens are using it and risking their lives. ABC News Channel 15's Lindsay Hess has a message for parents tonight in our special report.
Meet Molly.
People like pop the pill just to have fun, like at parties and stuff.
Musicians are singing its praises. While Molly sounds innocent enough, the drug is deadly.
It raises your blood pressure to extreme levels. You dehydrate, it raises your body temperature. You can send you into a coma and can kill you.
Molly is a form of MDMA, the drug found in ecstasy, and it's hitting Central Illinois by storm.
It's here. I mean, it's definitely here.
I know it's here, and I know it'll get worse.
The drug intensifies music, lights, and sex, attracting teens.
They like it because what it does, it just makes them like not feel anything, and they think that by doing it, like they'll have a better time, you know. They're more relaxed and they don't really remember anything afterwards.
Claudia Banks is a student at Jacksonville High School. She says she knows teenagers who take Molly, and those teens know the dangers involved.
I think that crosses their mind, but at that point, it doesn't matter, really. They're just trying to have a good time.
And with celebrities like Rihanna, Madonna, and Kanye West promoting Molly, teens are quick to follow.
They're asking everybody, you know, they're on stage, has anybody seen Molly? I mean, so they are glamorizing it big time, and these kids are seeing that. And anybody that knows teenagers, music is very influential for teenagers.
Gina Reno is an adolescent counselor at the Wells Center in Jacksonville. Her patients who are reporting using Molly are 14 to 16-year-old girls.
And the girls that are using it love it. They just go gaga over it. They're like, I just love using Molly on the weekends.
Molly is often described as being a pure form of ecstasy, but Reno says that's far from reality.
And the ones that do take it say, well, it's not as bad as heroin, or it's not as bad as cocaine. That's what they're telling you. They're thinking it's pure. There's no such thing as a Molly being pure. It's cut with something. But you can't convince them.
Law enforcement officers like Christian County Sheriff Bruce Kettlecamp say the drug is affordable.
It's cheap. They can buy it for like less than a six-pack of beer.
But Greg Sullivan, executive director of the Illinois Sheriff's Association, says Molly can land you in jail.
It's illegal. It's a substance, one. It's just as bad as having heroin on you, cocaine on you. If you're caught with it, it's a serious offense.
And most parents have no idea what Molly even is or how popular it is among teens.
Parents really don't know about the hardcore type of drugs and, you know, just basic like the marijuana and stuff. That's what, but Molly, not really, no.
And law enforcement officials say it's crucial parents talk with their kids about Molly now before it's too late.
And my fear is then I'm going to have to go up to some parents some night and explain to them that their kid has just died from an overdose of this deadly drug.
Lindsay Hess, ABC News, Channel 15.
Now, signs of Molly use include depression, jaw clenching, and sudden loss of appetite. For tips on how you could talk with your kids about Molly, you can head to our website, WICD15.com, and click on Web Watch.
Well, clear skies presently allowing temperatures to drop considerably. In fact, we're already in the 20s at Willard Airport, 28 degrees temperature there. And as you can see, a couple of reporting stations are offline, Danville and Lafayette. Meanwhile, we're looking at 30s across much of mid-Illinois. When we come back, we're going to check out some facts on that Gifford tornado and the Storm Team 15 forecast. Stay with us. Well, we've got some pictures here we want to show you, and we want to thank Ben Kamen and Joe Hill for taking these just unbelievable, spectacular shots there. You can see the debris field actually scuffing up the fields there as that tornado.
Right there,
you
that
can see those
line,
circles in the field there, and you can see the direct path that took right across Gifford there, just a little bit north of the downtown area, running from the southwest to the northeast. But once again, you can see the scrapes along the ground here. And of course, these are some of the shots there above Gifford taken a little earlier today.
But unfortunately, Doug, you know, as cleanup continues throughout this week, the weather is not really
Yeah,
going to
the
hold
weather
up.
is going to come into play here as we get into the second part of the week. Now, we're looking pretty good tomorrow and Wednesday for the most part, but by late afternoon and evening, we could be looking at some cloudy conditions and the possibility of some rain showers moving in across the area. Well, here's the way it looked a little earlier as we were actually watching a moon rise as we look out across the east here on the Sullivan Park Hill Tower Cam. Time lapse, and of course that's giving us the idea that we're looking at clear skies, and that's allowing these temperatures to really drop. 28 degrees is the current temperature, 50 degrees, that was the high today. The average high temperature being 49, so we were pretty much in the ballpark there. The November total of precipitation, though, stands here on the west side of Champaign at 6,800 hundredths. And here's some stats from that Gifford tornado, by the way. It is an EF3, or it has been classified as an EF3 tornado. We're talking peak winds of around 140 miles an hour, and the entire path, the length of the path of this tornado, 24 miles long and a quarter-mile wide. Certainly not as big as the one in Washington, Illinois, but certainly a very, very dangerous storm as it passed across the area on Sunday. Well, look at the temperature differences. We're 18 degrees below where we were this time last evening at Willard, 20 degrees below where we were in Mattoon. So we're now in that air mass that followed that cold front across the area that brought us those storms yesterday, and you can see the very distinct temperatures of each one of these air masses. We were up above 70 degrees for a while on Sunday afternoon, but boy, today that cool air continues to filter into the area. There's that 28-degree temperature reading in Champaign, 33 up in Watseka, also in Paris, 30 degrees at Mattoon, Charleston, 34 in Hoopeston, 35 degrees in Rantoul, also in Monticello, Gibson City, and 34 down in the Tuscola area. Right now, that air mass that moved in, well, it's a huge area of high pressure, keeping us with clear skies across the area, and certainly that's contributing to our heat loss here during the evening hours, and that will allow temperatures to drop. We're pulling in some cooler air from the north across the Great Lakes, but look what happens here as this area of high pressure slips out to the east. We do expect conditions to warm a bit, but not until Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're still anticipating another chilly day, and eventually this cold front will sweep into the area on Wednesday. Here's our chance of that precipitation. Even colder conditions expected by Friday when that second front moves across the area. Could change some rain showers off into perhaps a rain-snow mixture. 25 degrees for the overnight tonight with clear skies. 45 and sunshine tomorrow. Going to be a chilly day. Here's a look at the next 7 days, including that possible wintry mix by late Friday. And we'll be right back.
Police use DNA to solve crimes. Doctors use it to find out if patients are predisposed to diseases. What if, though, you could use DNA to look younger? Special correspondent Sheila Gray helps put one of those newest anti-aging trends to the test in tonight's 411.
Americans spend millions on products to fight the signs of aging, the wrinkles, sun damage, sagging skin.
What I'm trying to teach people is that those things happen for a reason, and that reason is actually in our genetics. It's in our DNA.
DNA contains all of the information used to build our bodies. Dr. Ruthie Harper says it tells her the reason a person has oily or dry skin, acne, wrinkles, sagging, and more.
What I discovered is that those are actually the symptoms. Deep inside, there's actually a reason why those things occur.
Dr. Harper created Skin Shift, a scientific 3-step skincare program.
I really like to take care of my skin. I'm the one who watches those infomercials.
We asked Maria Van Dyke to take the DNA test. Step 1.
I have sensitive skin, so I think it's interesting.
Maria swabs the inside of her cheek, answers some questions about her skin color, condition, and some family information, and sends the test kit off to the lab. Step 2 is a report on the body's collagen production, antioxidant and sun protection, inflammation control, and glycation or blood sugar protection.
So we kind of have a roadmap based on their Skin Shift DNA testing.
And step 3, recommended skincare products and supplements based on the individual DNA. Customers order them from Skin Shift online.
The whole concept behind Skin Shift was to use science to actually help people spend their skincare, their beauty, dollars, as opposed to just guessing.
The DNA test costs $349. Dr. Harper says that'll save people in the long run from buying products they don't like or which don't work for them. But couldn't a doctor or esthetician tell us the same thing?
Often we can get to the bottom of a lot of those tendencies just by asking you some really good questions, and again, just simply analyzing or looking closely at the skin.
I think that might be the way the future is heading. I think it's it's in its infancy.
And our mother of 2?
Well, the report told me that I'm out in the sun maybe a little too much, and that I have some red pigment in my skin.
Maria is using the skincare system and supplements.
But there are quite a few steps, and I am a busy mom. I can be lazy, but it did give me the motivation to use the products. I like the products. I noticed some difference in my skin.
Maria admits she may not stick to all of those steps, but she says our experiment will help her decide how to spend her beauty dollars.
All right, and that was Sheila Gray reporting, and our skincare experts say the best thing you can do for your skin, stay out of the sun, don't smoke, and you may want to take vitamin A, C, and E pills, plus CoQ10, and use products which contain retinol and sunscreens.
Coming up next in sports, and a lot of women's basketball players getting a little conference-wide attention today. Find out why next in sports. Good evening. It's Illinois high school football state semifinal week. Yesterday, each semifinal team woke up realizing they are one win away from state. But one semifinal team's excitement quickly turned to horror. That team is the Washington Panthers. In the middle of their best postseason run since 1984, yesterday an EF4 tornado ripped apart their town, Washington, Illinois. The Panthers play Springfield Sacred Heart Griffins Saturday in Springfield. And SHG's coach says this weekend's game is about so much more than football, so that's why he says they're doing everything they can to help.
I think we've collected several $1,000s, and already, from our football team and football family. We've got 2 charter buses going up there to pick up fans because they need transportation. A lot of them don't have any transportation. We're feeding those fans after the game. We're going to feed the team before the game, and we're going to feed the team after the game and take care of any needs they have.
The Washington Panthers and SHG Cyclones play Saturday at 1 in Springfield. The winner goes to the Class 5A state championship game. Over to Illini women's basketball, and after helping her, Illini set the record for largest margin of victory in yesterday's 112-28 win over Elkhorn State. Senior Amber Moore is the Big Ten Player of the Week. She averaged 25 points per game in the Illini's 3 games last week. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back with your final check of weather.
Okay, here's the stats on the Gifford, Illinois tornado. It was an EF3 with peak winds of 140 miles an hour, a quarter mile wide. It tracked 24 miles across northern Champaign County and beyond. Latest weather, WICD15.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good one. Illinois continues to recover. We continue our team coverage tonight from Gifford, where ABC News Channel 15's Doug Quick has been heading our fundraising efforts. He joins us live. And Doug, we've seen a lot of volunteers show up and help out, but how can the people at home help this town pick up the pieces?
Well, the best way to help people here pick up the pieces, and of course in other areas, is to help out the American Red Cross. They've had a strong presence here in the Gifford area. We've seen them many, many times throughout the afternoon that I have been here. And the best way to help is for people to make that call. And that number is 217-787 7602. Rick Otterberry is with us. He's from the Champaign County EMA, the Public Information Officer. And Rick, you had a meeting this afternoon with everyone. What's the latest?
The latest is that they're going to reopen Route 136 at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That will allow volunteers to come in and register at the Country Health Nursing Home with the Red Cross and the United Way people there and come on in. Now, we're really looking for skilled volunteers, chainsaw people, heavy equipment people with their own equipment, roofers, that sort of thing. It's not truly a general call yet. It's just too much activity here. It could be dangerous. So for a lot of people to get in, and we're trying to keep the chaos to a minimum once the road reopens.
Things appear to be operating like a well-oiled machine, is what I described earlier. Has that been the situation?
It seems to be. We've had time in the last 10 years to drill and go through practice for this sort of thing, and it all came together very well.
Very good. Rick, thanks for being with us, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Doug.
Well, we're going to come back at Gifford. We're going to be telling you more about how you can help the people of the Gifford area from this incredible storm that occurred on Sunday. Elitza, back to you.
Thanks, Doug. And
Janice, we're live here on the scene in Hoopeston, right across the street from the J&R Tire Recycling business. As you can see behind me, the building is still engulfed in smoke and flames. And now this is a 3-block long building, and we're here on the north end. The fire started at about 5:30 in the morning on the south end of the building, 3 blocks away. 5 employees were inside. They called the fire department immediately. The fire quickly got out of control. As you see now, hours later, it's engulfed the entire building. Fire crews are on the scene from several different departments, up to 8 or 9, early reports say. At this point, the fire defense is strictly defense. They're not going into the building. They never did go into the building. They just wanted to contain the fire from the outside. We have ladder crews that have been spraying from above, but at this point, it looks like the entire building has been destroyed. Homes have been evacuated on both sides of the tire factory here for several blocks. And coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll hear from the fire department and see how they're going to clean up a little bit of the mess. For now, live in Hoopeston, Adam Reif, ABC News Channel 15. Janice, we're still here at the scene of the fire at J&R Tire Recycling. As you can see, it's a little dark here in our shot, and that's because this thick black smoke is blocking out the sun. As you can see behind me, the fire is still raging, and this is one that will go on for hours still. Houses to the west, where the wind is blowing, have been evacuated, and you can see this thick, dark gray and black smoke is just covering Hoopeston to the west. So far, the good news is no injuries are reported. The firefighters are still staying out of the building. You can see they're still spraying it from the top, from the ladders. Nearby houses have reported some siding melted off. As we showed you that thick smoke blowing to the west, the heat is going that direction as well, and it is certainly very, very hot. Those houses have been evacuated. What doesn't help as well is to the east side of the building, there are railroad ties, literally adding fuel to the fire. So this fire is still going very strong. We'll be here all day at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. We'll hear from the mayor of Hoopeston as well as the fire chiefs that are on the scene. For now, live from Hoopeston, Adam Reif, ABC News Channel 15.
Right now in First News at 5 video, you'll only see here a man under arrest makes a dash for freedom after being arrested during a domestic dispute. Plus,
all we knew is that there was a person left in the apartment, that there was a small child in the apartment with them, and we needed to make sure that the small child was safe.
Tense moments today after Champaign police respond to reports of a domestic situation. 2 men are arrested tonight after what police call a hostage situation. I'm Elitza Bezio. Champaign police received word around noon today that a woman was being threatened in an apartment in the 2500 block of West Springfield. She was able to get out, but the men locked themselves inside with her baby. The police then treated the situation like a hostage situation and tried to negotiate with the men. ABC News Channel 15's Adam Reif was first on the scene today. And Adam, how exactly did everything unfold?
Elitza, there's a lot of moving parts to this story, including the young child, possible domestic violence, and a suspect who ran from police. Officers tell us the good news is the suspects are in custody and the child is now safe. A child pulled from harm's way after a tense situation Tuesday at a Champaign apartment complex. Champaign police officers got a call around noon after a woman reported her baby was in danger.
There was an altercation, disagreement, domestic situation that occurred in this apartment. One of the people in the apartment left. That's when police were called. We arrived at the apartment, and then contact was made with people inside.
Police say 2 people in the apartment were dating. They got into a fight and the woman left. Her young child, however, was still being held in the apartment by 2 men.
And all we knew is that there was a person left in the apartment, that there was a small child in the apartment with them, and we needed to make sure that the small child was safe. So initially, officers showed up, made sure everything was surrounded.
Police didn't know if they were armed, but took precautions in case they were. The men finally agreed to surrender to police and gave the child to a waiting detective. But then... one of the handcuffed suspects made a run for it. It was a sorry escape attempt. He was quickly tackled, and one officer suffered what police are calling a minor injury.
I'm not sure of the extent of any injuries to any officers. I think there's one that may be treated for what appears right now to be a minor injury. So right now, no good information, but we think that if there is an injury, it looks like a minor injury.
Police have not yet identified the 2 suspects that were taken into custody. They would also not yet comment on whether any firearms or other weapons were found in the apartment. Live in the studio, Adam Reif, ABC News Channel 15.
All right, thanks, Adam. No charges have been filed. Police say they're still conducting their investigation.
One Muhammad family was ready to welcome a new child into the world. Then they found out a rare disease could change that and their lives forever. Now they are sharing their story with us, how they found the courage to welcome a newborn into the world with a rare disease, knowing they'd have to say goodbye, and finding a way to hold on to the memory of their child. Amy and Andy have been married for 3 years. Their family is growing. First Jackson, and now Amy is pregnant with Gabriel. But Amy's pregnancy would change forever after a doctor visit that she will never forget.
May 3rd, 2013. I went in for just my normal 12-week ultrasound.
Sitting in the room, Amy felt something was wrong.
The whole time, and kind of looking at the scan, I was thinking maybe, his head just doesn't look right. Maybe it's blurry, it's probably nothing. I'm just, being nervous.
Amy's intuition was right.
So she told us that he has a diagnosis that is incompatible with life.
Gabriel had a rare disease called anencephaly. Within the first 20 to 29 days of Amy's pregnancy, the neural tube failed to close, and the baby's brain, skin, and skull never fully grew. Gabriel could die within seconds of being born.
But just in that moment, shock, anger, disbelief. Why is this happening?
Amy and Andy decided they would try to capture every moment while Gabriel was alive. Amy got on the internet and found this, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, a nonprofit organization of professional photographers who volunteer their time to take photos of newborn babies that will soon pass away.
Decided, yeah, I think that's something we would like to have pictures of him. He's our son.
Melissa, a professional photographer, volunteers for Lay Me Down to Sleep. She will be there when Gabriel is born.
With these families, you get one chance to capture the moments for them that they're having with their new baby, and that's it.
For Melissa, a mom of 3, she's doing more than just taking pictures. She's capturing life.
As a mom, I would want that, and I would want somebody that has that passion to also do that for me.
A week later, we were there as Amy and Andy walked into the hospital to give birth to their second son. Meet Gabriel. Here, he is alive. He was born at 8:31 p.m. November 5th, and he lived 5.5 hours before passing away. When I first met Amy and Andy, I asked them, why share such a tragic story?
This is very difficult to go through, and I don't want anybody to feel like they're alone or have no option. Maybe not even a fatal diagnosis, but just a difficult diagnosis to deal with. If we could help somebody even minutely, that would be enough for us.
Amy and Andy say they've gotten through this tough time with the support of God, family, and friends. To find out more about anencephaly or Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, visit our website, WICD15.com, click Web Watch.